This is a project to make a glow ball. It's quick, it's easy, and it costs less than about $2. We're only going to need a few parts. As you can see, it's a pretty simple gadget. We're going to need a ping pong ball. We're going to need a battery holder, coin cell battery holder, of course a coin cell to power it, and an LED. Now you can use any LED, but I like using these flashing ones. They're RGB LEDs, and they have a little chip in them to make them flash. And there's a fast flashing LED and a slow flashing version. I'm going to go with the slow flashing version for this project. Of course, you'll also need a resistor. I'm using 150 ohms here. Once you've decided on your parts, let's put it together. Now I'm using a rechargeable coin cell here. The biggest difference is that when fully charged, it's 4 volts, where the normal 2032 is only 3 volts. You could use either. We're going to cut a hole in our ping pong ball and make it just big enough to fit over the pins in the coin cell holder. I'm using a compass here to help me figure out what that hole size is. You can eyeball it if you want, but this makes a nice hole and something that's easy to cut. These are really cheap ping pong balls. I got them from the dollar store. They're terrible for ping pong, but they make great projects. You want to make sure that the hole's big enough to cover the 2 pins on the back of the battery holder, but not so big as that it goes over the sides of the battery holder. Next, we're going to attach the resistor to the LED. Since this is an RGB LED and I'm using a 4 volt coin cell, I'm using 150 ohm resistor. So I always wrap the LED around the positive leg. You can use either, but it helps me keep track of which leg is positive and negative. A little bit of solder for good electrical connectivity. Clip off the excess. I'm tinning both parts to make it a little easier. And now we're ready to attach it to the battery holder. Now it's important that you match up the negative leg of the LED to the negative side of the battery holder, and of course the positive. Here's a little diagram to show you which is which on the battery holder. Once you have the negative leg soldered, flip it over and do the positive side. You'll be soldering the part of the resistor so it bends really easily. Line it up so it's right up against the positive leg of the battery holder. And then clip off the excess. Before you go any further, it's a good idea to make sure everything is working and you have your polarity correct. You may have to bend the legs to move the LED more to the middle of the battery holder. Next, put a bead of hot glue around the edge of the hole you cut in the ping pong ball. Make sure the 2 pins are inside the hole. And that's pretty much it. Let's test it out. Here's a little tip. The lead in the middle of the battery holder is curved. Make sure it's bent pretty well. It makes it much easier to pop the battery out later. You can't get a good sense of how it looks on this video, but in person, it's a really cool effect. Thanks for watching.